I just said to Biggie, my worst nightmare is a Notre Dame, Ohio State college football final. And I think we're headed that direction. I do. I think Notre Dame wore Georgia out. That defense is tough now.
Yeah.
By speaking this now, I know you. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to use the Kelly curse
That's right.
on this because you loathe both teams.
I hate both teams. My two least favorite teams in all of college sports, Notre Dame and Ohio State.
But America, I think by and large, you could do worse with all four of these Final Four programs. I mean, these are storied programs.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't no question about that. Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Texas. I mean, Texas is my only hope. I have to have Texas stop Ohio State. I can deal with a Notre Dame championship. I hate Ohio State. I would cheer for Notre Dame over Ohio State. And I just said to Biggie, it's my worst nightmare. I don't like any of these teams, but especially those two. I'd much prefer Penn State and Texas, but I don't see it. I think it's Notre Dame, Ohio State.
I'm very fascinated by both of these coaches this season, too, because at various times people have called for their jobs.
Ryan Day.
Yes, especially losing to Michigan.
Of course.
I don't know with Ohio State how they are. I don't know even if they win the national championship, people will be okay with that because they still lost to Michigan this year.
Well, they'll be upset they lost to Michigan, but he's got his job is safe now. I think he's killing it.
You know, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois at home early in the season.
But they are
they're clicking now.
Absolutely. That Northern Illinois loss, when they lost at Notre Dame, I thought, well, they're not that good. If they had not lost that game, they'd be number one in the country. That's the only game they've lost, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So they would they'd probably be number one.
But then they were talking about, they were like, well, maybe this isn't the coach for the job. Maybe we were, maybe it's time to switch. So both of these guys.
By the way, these games, one of them is Thursday night, 7:30 Eastern time. The other one is Friday night. Am I going to watch this game?
Well, they have to get out of the way of the pros.
Right.
Yeah.
Am I going to watch? Is it possible?
No, but still.
I'll tell you what intrigues me.
I'll talk about watching it.
Yeah, you'll talk about it.
I'll talk about watching it.
Yeah.
I won't watch it, but I'll talk about watching it.
I'll watch some of this one. I'm real intrigued by this Detroit Lions Minnesota Vikings matchup.
Yeah.
That's a Sunday nighter.
Oh, am I going to watch on a Sunday?
That's what I'm saying. Is it worth staying up for? Yeah. Halftime, I'll see.
I'll tell you one thing. That is a game that decides the 1 seed in the NFC, and the loser goes to the 5 seed. And I got a friend right here who's a Minnesota Viking fan.
That's right.
I don't know if he's going to watch it. Doubt it.
It starts so late for us with our schedules. And,
Exactly.
That's right. It's the Sunday nighter, and it should be.
Well, yes. Listen, I didn't even watch the Sugar Bowl because I went and
You were gonna.
I got a late invite to play pickleball. Huge mistake.
Man.
Mistake. Let me tell you the mistake I made last night. We played these guys that we normally don't play, okay? Guys named Brian and Daniel. And Diesel, my partner, called me and said, Brian and Daniel want to play. And I was like, I don't know.
It's 38 degrees outside.
Yeah. Sugar Bowl's on.
It's like Sugar Bowl. And he said, yeah, but aren't you going to church on Sunday? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to church on Sunday. Okay.
I thought that was just an excuse.
No, it's real. My daughter held me to it. We told her first of the year we'd start going to church, and so she held me to it. And
You're not going to go expecting those cinnamon buns again, are you?
God, those are the best cinnamon buns I've had.
Yeah, now you're just into church, not even like the fun church.
Right. I just said, God.
If you could somehow mesh church with Panera bread,
Yeah.
I swear.
I'd go more.
For those that don't know, I went on Christmas Eve for a love feast.
First time in a while.
Yes. And we chose a church. Church roulette. Said, let's go for the love feast. We did. It was a Methodist church. Now, I had people tell me that the love feast is a Moravian church thing. It may be, but this Methodist church does it. And I went, and it was a Methodist church, no question. This
is not stolen valor. By any means.
No. This is one of my non-negotiables for the year. I got multiple.
What? Church?
No. No.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's always been negotiable for you.
Sweets on Sunday?
If you were going to say that's a non-negotiable.
No.
You're going to get struck by lightning.
No.
I'd be asking more questions like, how many weeks are we away from you inviting us to your baptism? Where I have to stand there and watch you, an adult, get dunked into a tub. Have you accepted Jesus? It's one of my non-negotiables. Splash.
All right, now the newest member of our church has requested cinnamon buns in the fellowship hall.
Golly, that's the best. My non-negotiables. If you missed yesterday's program, I have done something. I took it from the TV show The Bear, There's a character on The Bear who was on the verge of a nervous breakdown, and he frantically wrote.
Scribbling furiously.
Yes, scribbled furiously 60 things that were non-negotiables, meaning he was either going to do this or not going to do this at his restaurant. That's what the show's about. So this year on New Year's Eve, I said, that's what I'm going to do for 2025. I'm writing down non-negotiables, but I'm very careful about what I write down because once I write it, that's it. For instance, no Diet Cokes. Wrote it. I just told Biggie, I'm considering, because we were sitting here talking about college football, and, you know, I'm going off half-cocked and talking about things I don't really know. You know how I like talk out of my ass?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm
It's kind of what you're known for.
right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about writing down as a non-negotiable. I'm not talking as an expert on things I know nothing about this year. But that would...
No, I said don't. That is your trademark.
That's my DNA.
Yeah, you have to.
I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
Movies you've never seen or heard of.
That's right.
The show would not be the same if you didn't do that. Think of how many things
Movies I've never even heard of. I'm saying how good or bad they are. Yeah, I know this stuff.
you making terrible predictions and talking
Yes.
out of your ass. That's what this show
Right.
is built on.
It is one of the pillars.
That's why I haven't written it down in my non-negotiables, because I thought I can't put that out there, because once it's on the sheet, that's it.
Yeah.
That's
Can't deviate.
it. But I didn't make going to church a non-negotiable, but we went on Christmas Eve, and they did do a love feast, and the cinnamon bun was unbelievable.
In which part of the Bible is that?
The good part. I mean, the best part. That may be the new
Okay,
Testament.
okay.
Yeah.
That's not Old Testament, I don't think.
Yeah, because I don't even think Jesus served that at the
Man,
Last Supper.
some wassail and a sweet bread. Oh, delightful. So a lot of people told me, you didn't go to a Methodist church, you went to a Moravian church. And I would have argued with them, because I'm right, I went to it. I mean, I'm sure they started it in the Moravian church. But I'm not getting sucked into useless arguments this year. That's one of my non-negotiables.
All right.
Okay. All that leads me to say this. I was ready to watch Sugar Bowl yesterday, and I sat down and I said, Sugar Bowl's coming on. Well,
With our schedule, it could not have been
couldn't
more
have been.
perfect
Right.
timing.
I mean, I hate the reason they delayed it.
Of
for sure.
course.
I mean, it's awful, but it allowed me to watch it at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, the game just started, and Diesel texts and calls and says, we have an emergency pickleball. Brian and Daniel want to play. And listen, I play with Brian sometimes, fine player. But I said, I don't know Daniel that well. Should we really go play? And Diesel said, we're probably going to win every match, but it'll give us a chance to, sharpen our tools in the toolbox. And I was like, all right, I'll go give them a couple hours of my time.
We'll go tan their hides.
Right.
Get back for the fourth quarter.
Yeah, probably see the finish here of this thing. They beat us. I mean, they whipped our ass, and they couldn't have been nicer. They were like, we'd hit shots, and they'd be like, well, good shot, just barely missed, stuff like that. Beat us to a pulp. And I almost put in my non-negotiables, never underestimate your opponent. Never
I thought you were going to say, don't take the Diesel's call.
Yeah. Also, I like that he called it an emergency.
Emergency pickle.
Yeah.
He did. These guys are trying to get really good. They're getting ready to enter a tournament in about a month. And so they're like, we want to play every different style we can play. So we need you.
We need aging, lumbering folks.
Okay. And I'm embarrassed to say this. Brian set up his video camera.
Oh, so this is recorded.
He recorded it. He's putting it on YouTube. He's like, if you guys want to watch it on my YouTube channel, you can, because they go over every shot to see here's how.
They're like you, but even more
but
obsessed.
Yeah.
better, really. I mean, better player. They whipped our tails for 3 hours. And the more they beat us, the more Diesel's like, another. He's just like, another game.
This almost sounds like it's worth watching.
Yeah. Are you mic'd up? Can we catch all the on-court banter?
Listen to this. This is so terrible. I'm on also, I'm eating a lot more greens in the new year and a lot more roughage. So my stomach it's causing me some problems here lately. And the video camera was about 20 feet from the court, so he could get the wide angle perspective of it.
From like the behind,
Yes.
looking at all four
Looking
players.
at all four players. You want to see all four players and how we move on the court.
Yeah, like gazelles.
It doesn't catch you out of breath saying, I think I shit myself. What? I think I shit myself.
A ball rolled away, and I went to retrieve it.
Okay.
And nobody else out there, of course. It's 30 degrees. It's freezing cold. And so I go to retrieve it, and as I walked back, I needed to pass gas. And
Did you lift your leg?
I let one fly far away from the guys, but as I realized as I did it, right next to the camera. I mean, right. So,
Can we freeze frame the image the moment it happened?
well, see, that's, yeah, I'm sure. So if these guys go back and watch it on the YouTube channel, as I'm sure they will.
Stop. Play that back. Rewind. A little more.
Well, I've got to hope that nothing, they think nothing's going on. I'm just retrieving the ball, so it's 20 seconds of dead time. But as I walked past it, it was just like, loudly. And then I was like, oh, no. And I lifted a leg. I mean, it couldn't have been worse. It could not have been worse.
You don't think these guys just tricked you into like they bet everyone else you normally play with? Like, I bet I can record them.
Might have been.
Oh, yeah, guys, but we just need some practice.
I'll beat them up and put it on tape.
Oh,
no
they did.
way.
They did. They beat us to a bloody
We will thrash them for 3 hours,
That's right.
and they'll keep coming back for more.
Two of the
No way. They'll do it. But the Sugar Bowl's on. Please.
And my whole attitude going was like, all right, I'll grant them my presence. And then they slapped us around for 3 hours and are two of the nicest guys I know and just could not have been more punishing on the court.
Well, Biggie and I have followed your pickleball saga since day one, the day you picked up the paddle. And and I know the listener loves to hear the pickleball stories.
That's what I keep hearing more of.
Tell us more.
Tell us more pickleball. Go inside
But it sounds to me as if your opponents yesterday, Daniel and Brian, they're on the same path you hoped to be on about 3 years ago.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, because I believe at this point you guys were supposed to be in Boca just dominating the Nationals.
Spring Nationals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be planning for Spring Nationals, and I told Diesel, I'm not leaving the state. After that, and he said, "Do you want to play tomorrow night?" Meaning tonight. And I said, "No, I want to lick my wounds. I want to go home." I went home. I had told my wife as I left, I was like, "This won't take me long." She's like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, these guys aren't of the same caliber." And when I got home, she said, "Well, how did it go?" Because it was now it's late, She goes, "Well, how did it go?" I said, "They beat us like every single game and just absolutely crushed us." And she goes, "I'm glad to hear that. You had a little bit too much,
a little cocky,
too, what's the word?
Bravado.
A little too much bravado on the way out the door." She goes, "I hate it for you, but I'm glad to hear that. A little humility goes a long way."
Did she walk in and find you sitting on the floor of your shower, knees to chest,
and
steam billowing out?
Yeah. Yes.
The only thing that's going to go right is at least Georgia is probably crushing Notre Dame.
I mean, that's the SEC. They'll take care of business.
Yeah.
Won't they?
Don't worry.
They'll rest it.
Notre Dame
kill
never
Notre Dame.
shows up in the playoffs. At least I'll have that.
At least
I
Georgia's
won't have to see the Golden Domes for another year.
Right. At least they'll be dispatched, and we'll move on. No, they won fairly easily in a defensive triumph, but I didn't see it, so I can't really speak on it because that's one. It's not a non-negotiable, but it's close. Now, when I got home after this drubbing, I opened that refrigerator door, and there were a dozen Diet Cokes just
Ooh, she's testing you.
Boy, and I said, I had to pick up my phone and look at the non-negotiables. I drew up the non-negotiables, and it said right there, first one, no Diet Coke. So I could not have it. I did not, but it took everything I had not to have it. I can tell you that right